You are now tuned into the best fatherhood radio show in the world. Furthering Fathering Radio Show. It's the Furthering Fathering Radio Show. The brothers are back in the building. Brother J in NYC and Brother L in the ATL. The Furthering Fathering Radio Show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready? Let's get the conversation started.
These conversations will bless you. We humbly request, if you're new to the channel, that you like, subscribe, and hit the notifications for when we upload new shows. Help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers.
The barbershop is more than a place to get a cut. It's the heartbeat of the community. It's where stories are shared, laughs echo, and wisdom is passed down from one generation to the next. Inside those four walls, men find more than a fresh look. They find themselves. It's a safe space where vulnerability meets strength, and real conversations happen about fatherhood, faith, finances, and even failure. Young boys watch, older men teach, and everyone leaves a little sharper, not just in looks, but in life. In a world that often tells us to hold it in, the barbershop says speak, heal, grow, let it out. It's connection, it's culture, it's community. And it's one of the few places where we're reminded we don't have to carry it all alone. We all we got. Wednesday at the barbershop, that conversation was really, really healing, right? It was just a good time to just really pull back, unwind. Yeah. And all the Furthering Fathering brothers was there. Ron was there, Chaz was there, Frank was there. Our brother Carl Root from Robe, reaching our brothers everywhere. He was there. My boy Joey Mitchell from Ask Dad, he was there. And then we met 20 other brothers.
Awesome.
But in that moment, I just felt free. Still, Bishop, unbalanced going in, unbalanced leaving out. But in that moment, I was present. It felt great.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning now, Bishop, is that because we've built an accountability circle. So I know we talked about 7 levels of relationship in the other, we talk about our relationship with God the Father, but that relationship, that accountability circle where you have brothers that know you, that check in with you, that, you don't mind saying, hey, brother, I'm good, but something is just off, in other words, Bishop, I'm not in a bad space. It's just, I'm in a space where, I'm not expecting the shoe to drop because I'm an optimist. So I'm just expecting to roll with the good, with the bad. But the good definitely outweighs the bad all day, every day. One day above water. Hey, we have light. That's a gift in itself. But brother, it's just good though, Bishop, to have that accountability circle. Like you told me yesterday, hey brother, don't forget Galatians, and I'm like, no, Jay, I'm there. So I received that too. We won't grow weary and well doing, but we do get tired, right? Right? Like Chaz told me, he said, hey brother, I'm only functioning on 2 hours of sleep. But I think too, Jay, the weight of planning, preparation, forecasting, budgeting, all of those things that are not the glorified things that people see on social media comes with the weight of being a leader.
Yeah.
And we have to accept
that is the fatherhood position. We've been talking about that forever. That is the fatherhood position. And welcome all those from around the world watching. Please hit like, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow it. We're literally starting from scratch, and we're asking that we scratch your back, you scratch ours.
That's right. Follow us, and we'll follow back. That's right.
Exactly. So,
That's right.
yeah, this is about the narrative. This is about controlling the narrative, not controlling the narrative, but we have to understand that there's a narrative. If there's a narrative, there's a narrator, and we have to be in line with the narrator so that we say the lines we're supposed to say at the time we're supposed to say it, right? Right? So, yeah, what you're saying is powerful. As men, as dads, as leaders, we have to wear all those hats. The preparation, and a lot of it is not glorified because we don't see the glory in preparation, but that's where the best is refined. It's where you're defined and refined. Right?
Yeah, like
and the incoming, as we talked about last time, is whether you hear ahead of time and you see ahead of time, but like you said the last time, you have to complete it. And part of the narrative is that your vocabulary matches your actions.
Come on now.
And
come on now.
That's where maturity starts to kick in. That you say it and do it and encourage others to do it because you're doing it well. But people, we're in this instant gratification society that people only follow what's moving, what's already established. Will even critique and spend a lot of time angry at someone else's creation. I'm a Star Wars fan. May the 4th just passed. And you'd be surprised the amount of people are upset that they didn't do what they wanted them to do creatively. Why don't you spend time creating? And you'll appreciate what someone else creates, right? So you're right. You're absolutely correct. Controlling the narrative. See, hear it further and farther. And we always like to say, we say this and we say that because we receive the incoming. We don't just hold it to ourselves, we share it.
Yeah.
So, we take serious what we say because we're responsible. You said accountability. Accountability makes you responsible for what you say you're going to do, right? Mm-hmm. And our response ability grows with maturity. Our ability to respond responsibly. But like you said last week, we go beyond responsibility to involvement. You see, being involved is not just where we're trying to inspire others to do. That's what we do with each other.
Come on.
That's what we do with each other. That's when, see, the reason I can trust Lamont is because I feel safe having him involved. You understand? I don't hold back unless I feel it will affect him negatively. You understand? So maturity comes. Maturity comes through quality relationship, and quality relationship is built on quality communication, which is the narrative. But all that comes with a joint growth and maturity. So,
man.
Yeah.
But Jay, you said something. I just want to expound on this, man, because in this conversation around emotional intelligence, right? So I had my own understanding of emotional intelligence, right? But then I'm hearing more and more, and I see how I just don't want to put what I received or perceived, my perception, in the box, and that's it.
Right.
Which Jay, it opened up a whole different perspective for me, which is, yes, I want to be present. I want to be in the moment with my emotion. I don't want my emotions to take me on this roller coaster. I want to breathe, give myself that moment and think it through before I respond, not just that immediate reaction. But one thing that was brought to my attention is that it's not just that, Jay, because your reaction just don't affect you.
Hallelujah.
Your reaction affects others.
Yes.
Immediately and indirectly.
Yes.
Hey, that gave me a whole different perspective on fatherhood.
Yes.
On leadership, on parenting. Man, because Jay, think about it, right? When things aren't so again, we could be all that we want to be when things are going great.
Exactly.
That's nothing. That's nothing. You can, when everything's going great, hey, it's all good. You're fine. But cruise control and do whatever you want, right? Sightsee at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's when those moments hit, Bishop, when you are pressed, you're challenged, you're stretched, you're operating not fully rested. You're burning both sides of the candle. As a dad, you're wearing all those many hats. As a man, you're wearing all those many hats. And then you still have to show up and you have to finish your assignment.
Yes.
That decision, Bishop, of course it impacts you because that's you directly. But when you start thinking, if I say this, how does it affect my brother right there?
Yes.
How does it impact him when he leaves me? How does it impact the call that he's going to receive from his whoever?
Yes.
You don't think about that. You really don't think about that until you come out of serving yourself. And when you're serious about serving others, when you're serious about them levels of relationship, when you look at yourself as a person that you should have that relationship with the most, other than the Most High.
Yes.
Bishop, you're no good to anyone else if you're not in tune with yourself.
Exactly.
So that's why, brother, Bishop, I appreciate how we've grown over the years of even how we interact with one another to the place where we allow each other to just sit and listen, right? Because there's times when, brother, hey, I just want to call you and just, yo, Jay, I just want to run this by you, right? And brother, I got to check to make sure you're there. Jay, you there? Yeah, I'm here because you're listening. You're that soundboard that you allow the safe space to have your brother come in, share his heart. And then, Jay, it's like, man, I just want to get that off my chest. And you're good with that. You'll lay in it until I say, well, Jay, what you think, man? What you think, right? Because you're not there to just give me or calculate a response or what you think L should be doing, because you want me to be good, and that's what I appreciate, brother.
Right.
DJ, when that conversation around emotional intelligence, man, I immediately thought of you. Wow. Because we've created that over the years. Like I just come out of a meeting and I call Frank.
because Frank has always been that sage, wise man, right? Like Frank is that one to say, "Hey, man, what about this? Did you ask that? Did you ask that?" Right? Because he take me through the check process.
Yeah.
Because he know what we've been praying and blessing and asking God to bless us with over the years. But Jay, it's the accountability, not of, "Hey, L, did you miss a mark or are we good?"
Right.
Man, I'm glad because I know what you went through this week or was going through.
Right.
I'm glad. That's great news. So brother, I know I said a lot, man, but Jay, you don't understand, man, when we having this conversation around the narrative.
Yes.
My God. Because Jay, if we're not the narrators of our story, how else will our story get told?
It would get
because they're gonna make up some stuff.
Edited.
It won't be the truth.
Exactly, it'll be edited. They have the wrong characters saying the wrong thing.
Yeah, man.
You know, it'll have an agenda. No. We
and Jay, share because I know this is you and our conversation, but share though, brother, because for years though, Jay, you've always been a catalyst for sharing the narrative of truth, whether it's for you or against you. But
yes,
you've been that authentic brother.
Yes.
That
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, man. But you Jay, what you see is what you get. But you're that guy, man. But Jay, how do you knowing the truth and knowing people, how do you navigate through that? Because you really have a love for people. Like, how do you navigate that in the truth, knowing that oftentimes, man, you know the truth will set people free, but it's like they're not ready for it, for the meat, but you still have to feed them the milk.
It changes from what I want to what's best for you. And I seek for what's best. It's becoming what's called other-minded. Other-minded.
Say that again?
Other-minded. OTHER-MINDED. When you become other-minded, you receive the narration. You see, people love to discern so that they can elevate themselves or protect themselves. But if you're here to promote what's best, you're going to not only hear what they're saying and what's behind this they're saying, because you taught me to listen for what's not said. He told me to look for what's not shown, but it's in order for you to be able to speak the truth in love. If I can't speak the truth in love, I won't speak. Now, you have to have your mind made up with that.
Okay.
Unless I can speak the truth in love, I'm going to listen until there's a point where, this is what is necessary to be said. And only say that. It's my problem, because so much is available to give. And as they say in the cartoon, shut up, shutting up. I have to learn how to. I have to learn shut up, shutting up, right? And but when you love on people, you always like no matter how ugly somebody is to me, I'm going to see the beauty in them. There's antagonists. You don't need a bazooka to kill a gnat.
Right.
You don't need a bazooka to kill a gnat. You just flick it off, right? Not everything that is intended to insult should you accept.
I got that.
You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? You can't discern when you're distracted.
Right.
Right. Sometimes it's ducking the jab that opens you up for the uppercut. Right? Just block it. Just block it. I mean, just block it. So it's not about pretense. Also, it's not about pretense. And pretense is where flattery comes in. Pretense is where manipulation comes in. Pretense is where control comes in.
That's big.
Right? So when I genuinely love my brother, I genuinely love my brother. When I genuinely love my wife, I genuinely love my wife. When I genuinely love my children, I genuinely love my children. It's not to make me look better.
Right.
You understand? Right. They are not, you are not an accessory. Right? My wife is not an accessory. My children are not accessories. They're not put on the planet for me to make me look good. I do not minister or do anything for self-promotion. I do it to be faithful and to love. When you keep it that simple, you really hear people. When you keep it that simple, you really care. It's a spirit to spirit conversation and walk. You can't get unity if you're always fighting in competition. They say comparison is the death of blessing or the destructor of joy. The reason why we in Further and Fathering enjoy and love what we do is because we do not compare ourselves, do not mimic or copy anyone else.
No.
We love being ourselves. And I love you being you, Al.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I love you being you.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, Jay, I'm glad you lifted that up, man, because you know what? And I forget how the saying goes, right? When they say imitation or something is the flattery.
Yeah.
However that goes, right? When somebody, you see somebody imitating you, that's a form of flattery or whatever. But you know what, Jay? No, because I remember, and Jay, so let's go back, right? So in our early DJ and MC years, I would never have to listen to another DJ to become motivated to create my own master mixes. Right? In fact, I didn't want to listen to anyone else. Just like you said, you would never want to listen to another rapper while you're writing yours. You don't want to be inspired by or some similarity. And now you're comparing your gift to theirs.
Exactly.
So I've always, and Jay, and I think this is, you're on to something because, we're talking about the narrative, right? Yeah. The narrative is really, who are you?
Exactly.
Oftentimes you can't even answer that question. Like, who are you? Like when you go for that job description, why should I hire you? People feel uncomfortable. No, why should you get hired? Who are you? You are the best representation of you. Anything else is detrimental to you standing on your tens talking about this is who I am. No. So Jay, I'm glad you mentioned that because the struggle is always because of what we see on social media. Or the notion, how many impressions this gets or the optimal to go viral. It's interesting, Jay, because I was in a meeting with a few executives, and I said it's never the notion of Further and Fathering to go viral.
Right.
We are behind the scenes, below the radar.
Yes.
Because most of what we do is to impact the father to benefit the child.
Yes.
I said, and oftentimes those conversations you have to have when the cameras are not on.
Exactly.
Because that's what you and I was talking about the other day.
Yeah.
You was talking about most of what we do isn't qualitative, right? So we could talk about the dad that we had a great relationship with. We provided certain services, but we can't, and because of who we are, we won't discuss what the details of that conversation was.
Right.
And how long we may have to talk my brother off the ledge.
Exactly.
To bring it to a comprehensive state. To bring it to a reality state. So I love that you said that, man, because you know what, Jay? That is who we are.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in that, because that makes us that organization that cares that we are who we are.
Yes.
And we stick to part of one of our missions, right? Empower fathers, strengthen families, transform communities. Yeah. That's us through this movement. So I'm glad that you lifted that up, man, because that is the narrative, Jay, that we don't get to really share with a lot of our listening audience, because they really don't know who we are as an organization.
Exactly.
They know who we are as individuals, but most of the time not as a collective. And there's nothing different from what goes on here in Georgia than what goes on up there in New York.
So it's all love, and it's care. You know the acronym CARE.
That's right.
We capture. In other words, we're here. We listen. We really listen. We assess.
That's right.
We recommend, and we empower.
That's right.
CARE. We're captivated by the real you. So we capture all the details that we assess. This is where discernment comes in. What's best for this brother? We recommend it. We recommend it, and we empower. So we genuinely care. It is not just an acronym for the fun of making an acronym. We live this. We live this. So when I'm listening to my brother Lamont, I'm capturing. We talked about it just a little while ago. We talk about emotional intelligence, but you have to go from the emotion to the mind to the will. So you have to make a decision.
Come on.
To hear you. Yeah. I have to make a willful decision to love you enough to hear you. I have to actively listen so that I capture everything, all the nuances, all the details, all the things that make you special, the things where you struggle, and where he's taking you, not where I want you to go.
That's good.
And we're learning this as we're parenting adults. We're learning
That's
this.
Right.
We're learning this. Shifts. Your vocabulary has to change, right? And the same thing when you're dealing with vocabulary. You gotta learn some new words.
That's right. That's right. And Jay, you gotta be real timely too, man. You know, it's not like we could sit them down where we had their undivided attention for an unlimited amount of time.
You gotta get good at texting. You better get good at texting. You better get good.
Right.
You may not like it, but you gotta get good at it. So you have to capture, and then you have to assess, and involve them in the assessment. Because you can assess all you want, and they still can't see it. They have to be involved in the assessment. This is how the narrative becomes not an heirloom. Also, it also becomes something that passes down, and it becomes a network of people who are involved. We talk about involved fatherhood, involved leadership, involved friendship, involved brotherhood, right? So it's during that time of assessment, that time people like to get to accountability, the time of honor and encouragement, that gets to the accountability, where the assessment deals with the truth. How can you speak the truth in love if you don't know the truth?
That's right.
You're always going to presume and assume. You don't have to go through what assume means. Right?
Right. That's right. That's right.
So you got to spend time there assessing, and then you recommend. You really, and this is all freestyle. This is what's beautiful. We didn't know what we were going to talk about even before. It's all freestyle. Then we recommend, and the recommendations are not rules. See, people are to create rules, but the rules are to control. No, you recommend so that you have the choices and even can improve on what you recommend. Because just because you recommend it doesn't mean it's the best. The best may be in them, and you just needed to find a way to pull it out. You may not even see what's best, right? It may be in them or in somebody else, but the recommendation, recommend, recommend. To come, you know, you are commandeer, right? Right. It's for them to take ownership, right? You can give them, you know, they say lead a horse to water.
Yep.
You can't make them drink. Well, you know, make some lemonade. You know, make it a little sweet. They want to drink it then. So anyway,
No, I like that. I like that.
And then you empower. And this is where you always talk when you see the end from the beginning. You always say that, Al, see the end from the beginning. From the time you're capturing, this is conversation. This is healthy, quality conversation, so you have quality relationship. If the end in mind is to empower, the vehicle, the CAR, will be easier. Because you'll be willing to listen, you'll take your time, you'll be patient when you're capturing the information so that you don't have things out of alignment and assume. You'll assess based in love and what's best for them, and you'll recommend what suits them. It's not one size fits all. Life is not one size fits all, right? And so then you move to empower them. And when you empower them, now you've increased his kingdom, the Most High kingdom, but you've also blessed theirs. And guess what? When you're in a pickle and when you're down, this who's going to come back, circle around. They may or may not. You can't do it for that reason. But guess who will most likely circle around and check on you? The person you've empowered. The person you empower,
you've invested. That's right.
Empowerment creates appreciation.
That's
Empowerment
right.
creates appreciation. Empowerment is a special type of honor where you press them to be the best them and seek opportunity. So you may not have the financial wherewithal to empower, but just by telling me, yo, Jay, you got 1,000 books in you. You know what that does? That has a brother writing every day. That has a brother writing every day. You know what I mean? Dr. O, now back then, Minister O say, man, you're a good writer. Then you have it twice. People saying it. Oh my goodness, I must be all right at this. I must be, this is not what, I'm an MC. I thought I was good at spitting. I guess the truth is I'm actually good at writing.
That's right. That's right.
And you learn more about yourself.
Writing, and then you started writing for the examiner.
Exactly. You know, it's when others speak the truth in love to you that you learn the new you. And you learn the possibilities of what's best for you. some people don't even like their gifts. Some people like to see how people respond to their gifts. Some people want fame, which is a mistake. Fame comes with a price. It's too expensive. Gain the world, lose your soul.
That's right. That's right. And Jay, what's interesting, man? I know we only got a few more minutes left, but brother, I was looking for this because this had came to me a while ago. This was months ago.
Yeah.
But when it was talking about narrative, I always wanted to know, what are the best ways of us capturing, bottling, sharing the narrative, not just on the organization, but us as individuals, right? And I written this down, Jay. Faces over facts. It said the names and faces are more powerful than statistics alone in building connectivity and trust. So think about that though, Jay, because in organizational wise, we're always data driven, but we always go back to our principles, which is we grow at the speed of quality relationships.
Yes.
The narrative though, Jay, is that honestly, we've never had that society would say a sports professional, a famous actor or actress, you name it, as part of the narrative of who we are.
Exactly.
We value the everyday voice of a father or mom that is trying to do their very best to empower themselves and their family, uplift their community, to mentor either laterally or below. We're always highlighting those as our MVPs and our superstars. And you know what, Jay? I love that because now it even helps us even more to recenter our everyday MVPs.
Yes.
And that's the narrative that I want us to really be charged with.
Yes.
Because, man, Jay, in this world, there are so many people doing so many great things.
Yes.
And when we went dormant for the podcast for years, we were always having a conversation, man, when you guys kick back up, I love to be a guest. I love to be a guest. I love to be a guest. Yeah, because we understand your story has so much value because you're the overcomer of yesterday.
Yes.
Hey, you may be the overcomer of the moment, of today. So, but we want to say, hey, tell your story. We rather the face over the fact.
Amen.
And you're our MVP. We don't need, now superstars want to come, great.
Welcome.
Added value to who we are and what we do. But the everyday champion that get up, despite what it looks like, you are the overcomer. You're the champion because that's who we want to stay connected with because we know we grow at the speed of those quality relationships, man. And Jay, the narrative for further and fathering of those relationships, it goes back to when you and I early on, our sister, a board member, we went to her organization and she was there with her member staff. And at the end of it, you said to them, how can we help you? And I'll never forget, she said, no one has ever asked us that, right? Because because they're this big organization that should be shelling out money because they're connected. And she's connected to a lot of people. But she said no one has ever asked that. And it lets me know, though, Jay, we forget how valuable the person to your left, to your side, to your right brings along the value that you've been looking for, but you've been overlooking or overshooting and dismissing the true value. You know, so I wanted to lift that up, man, because faces over facts. I written this months ago, but it speaks to the narrative of us controlling the direction and the purpose of us serving our people, serving our community with those special relationships, which, you know, I know we have plenty of them now.
Yes.
I'm grateful for them.
Yes. You just said something about overlooking. When we overlook, the people we overlook, we bump into, we hurt, and we trip. Let me say that again. The people we overlooked, we bump into, that means the contact is forceful and outside of our understanding. We bump into them, we hurt them, and then we trip. Stop overlooking people. Say hi to the person who's sweeping.
Yeah.
Say Dios te bendiga. God bless you. To the man low in the lawn. Stop overlooking. We to grow in quality relationships, you don't know what quality is. Gold is found underground. Oil is mined from deep below. You can't see it on the surface. So stop overlooking. You'll appreciate where you are when you stop overlooking. Stop overlooking. Your love walk won't skip steps, and you won't be tripping. You won't be hurting people.
Man.
And that's all incoming. And never thought of it.
No, I like that, man. I like that, man. We're bumping to him, right? Because we're gonna bump into him because we looking past him. So we're gonna bump into him. That is disrespectful in itself.
Yes.
We'll hurt them, and even hurt ourselves, and we'll trip.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good, man. Because Jay, it's about the moments, man.
Yeah.
It's about the moments, not just the milestones. And I'm learning to be in the moment, stay in the moment. The milestones are achievable. They're something that, you know, we put out there that we want to achieve, that we want to hit. But it's the moments, and I really want to be present in the moment so that we can stay, you know, we can celebrate the moments, not overshadow them. You know, we have a great meeting. Hey, man, we had a great meeting. You know, it's not like we had a great meeting. Okay, on to the next. No, let's sit in this for a minute. You know, that's like they tell them after, you know, you won one round of playoffs. All right, now you're gonna go meet your opponent in the second round. No, let's talk about tonight. Let's enjoy tonight. We're gonna talk about our opponent tomorrow. But I want us to do that, man. Let's celebrate
every win.
Because
when you celebrate the win, you appreciate who brought you through.
Woo! All right, preacher, put your preacher hat on. Buckle up, y'all.
That's how you live a joyful life. When you intentionally celebrate every win, because you appreciate the process and who brought you through.
Yeah.
Right? Do not take for granted anyone who's ever helped you. Your victory is theirs too. So lift them up. You're uplifted when you win, right? That's because somebody lifted you up. Somebody lifted you up. So appreciate. Be grateful. Show some adoration. Grow in awareness. When you appreciate what's going on. So you appreciate what happened in the past, and you look forward to what's going on in the future, and you're powerful now, hindsight, insight, and foresight, right? And when you appreciate, that's because you invested, right? When you invest right, the value goes up, right? And then all that is because you honor, right? You honor. So yeah, throw an appreciation, man. Listen, when you're excited to be alive when you see stuff appreciated. And you appreciate what's going on.
No, Jay, you just said a lot, man. And Jay, our next show, man, let's go into that insight, foresight, hindsight. Let's go into that.
Yeah.
Let's hit some appreciation, and I'm gonna go into this because I wrote a blog about it two blocks away from the barbershop, right?
That's awesome.
But it was provoked from a quote that my English teacher wrote in my senior yearbook: "Love many, trust few, paddle your own canoe." We won't get into it now. We can get into it in our next excerpt.
Say it again. Say it again. I love that. Say it again.
Love many, trust few, paddle your own canoe. And again, 12th grade senior, I had no idea the impact and relevance of that. In fact, I was like, man, Cons, you could have said something a little more profound than that, but it was profound. And we'll get into it at our next session, man.
Yes. Well, for We Love You to Life, again, if you haven't not only like it, subscribe, take notes, take notice, share
it out.
Share it out.
That's right.
Tell somebody about it. Tell somebody. So, because this is Further and Fathering, where fatherhood is elevated, families are empowered, and communities are transformed by our 5 core principles: honor, encouragement, accountability, reconciliation, and training, HEART, which forms the word heart. We love you to life, and we pray that you and your family are blessed, and your generations after that. Anyway, until next time, peace.
Peace, my brother.
Peace. Love you, man. I can't wait to
love you too, brother.